Today, I want to share a story involving two once respected figures in the sneaker world, one of the biggest sneaker stores in the country, and the behind-the-scenes unraveling of what once was considered an unstoppable sneaker empire. Today, we're talking about 2J Kicks, avid Donald Trump lover and longtime face of urban necessities, and the shoe surgeon, the behind-the-scenes puppet master who spent the last few years steering the operation straight into the ground, but also the challenges of his own legal battle with Nike. This saga is a cautionary tale for everyone still clinging on to what's left of a barren hobby, one that's been drained of all of its hype, its money, and its meaning. This story originally started with built-up pressure by consignors of urban necessities complaining about not receiving payments and a growing fear of removing any sneakers of theirs from the store. So with looming public pressure and a story to tell, 2Js would hop on Instagram and release a 14-minute video message airing out basically everything for the first time. He first talked about the personal struggles he faced with his wife's stage 4 colon cancer diagnosis back in early 2022, and a few months later, he then would meet the shoe surgeon and his business partners to discuss a deal.
Over the next month, we start negotiating and talking through what it looks like to, help me run Urban Necessities because of my concerns of it being a little bit bigger than I can take on by myself, given the tools that we had, and my focus being on Joni and her health issues.
Both parties would work together for months off of a split handshake agreement until ultimately signing a deal in late 2022. But 2J's critically overlooked the contract and what was stated in it.
We worked for months together without a deal in place, just operating on essentially what is a split handshake. In November 2022, I signed a deal, which then takes me about 8 months later to recognize that I have absolutely no operational say in this business, and I am converted from an owner-operator to just owner, founder, employee.
But also claiming full responsibility for anything that would happen to the business.
And the one thing that I also accepted in this contract, which falls on me, is the liability of this business, with some of it being on me personally.
So while the shoe surgeon and his company would take over and operate the business, 2J's was still acting as the puppet with the guise of ownership, but all responsibility or decision-making really wasn't there.
When we did this deal, there was an exchange of some money that I gave all to Joni, and that money was used to pay some of our taxes.
Only some taxes? Whoa, wait. Guys, who even needs to pay taxes anymore, right? Oh yeah, just a little bit of taxes. The IRS totally isn't gonna come after me.
And we bought a couple of properties to take care of our friends and family.
Well, not paying your taxes was pretty fucking bad, but then buying properties for your family and your friends. Why would you do that? Did you really think that this was a smart financial investment or a decision to make when essentially you just sold your business and was out of a job, we would find out later? Well, of course not, but looking at his purchasing history and the perception he was displaying on social media, well, of course, people like this who built their entire persona around materialism and money and flaunting their wealth and status, of course, they're gonna be stupid and spend the little last money they had on assets. You're an ass yourself.
What didn't happen that should have happened at that particular moment was Joni should have been removed as a managing member, and she was not. May of 23, Joni allows Urban Necessities and Surgeon Worldwide to borrow $300,000 for a buy that was used towards product that needed to go for the store, as well as some of our licensing deals that we were doing abroad. I was very adamant that I thought it was not a good idea, and I did not want to see that money spent in that way. And Joni's reply was, I'm just trying to help. We agreed on some of this money being repaid in a timely manner. We are currently still not repaid for that debt.
So your wife, who is withering away with stage 4 cancer, she still is operating as a functional manager, and then you don't even have any say to say anything to her, but then in the contract, you aren't any... So then she approved to give the shoe surgeon and his company, who are now operating Urban Necessities, you don't talk to your husband, 2J's, who was the owner of it. You give the shoe surgeon $300,000 for inventory, and really, who really knows where else his money was spent? I highly doubt that any of this money was used for anything positive for the business.
And as I continue to go, you'll see why I probably don't think we're gonna see a dime of it.
Fucking shocker, huh? September of 2023. 2J's is frustrated with consignment and other business changes happening that was going against the process of the shop and his morals. So while the business was going under these changes that were affecting the overall look of the business and 2J's, the shoe surgeon was trying to remain unmentioned for any changes or any potential backlash, and 2J's was just being the fall guy for everything. Now, this makes some sense because I remember making a video about 2 or 3 years ago on 2J Kicks covering a similar consignment scam happening where he wasn't paying out consigners, they weren't sending out checks, and a whole slew of more controversies. So now it really makes me think that, well, it probably was just 2J's being the fall guy in this entire situation.
And some of the operational say started creating a lot of issues for me. We used to be on, and I was a part of operational calls for the business, and at some point I'm advised to not speak on the calls because I'm, basically making noise and not really aligned with what the business is, while the narrative, the false narrative, is painted that I'm not trying to be a part of the brand, help the brand, or be anything positive for the brand. In November of 23, my issues are so bothersome to me, and I feel so helpless that I ask to be bought out. And in December 22nd of 2023, I am offered my first buyout. A buyout that we went back and forth on a little bit, but a buyout that at some point I signed the paperwork and they never did. May 2nd of 2024, I am terminated as an employee of Urban Necessities. October 8th, 2024, I signed paperwork to walk away for $0 in exchange for my freedom so I could be able to provide for my family with no restrictions.
After getting canned and living off of assets, which just isn't smart. You guys don't have any savings or anything?
I hear nothing. No one signs anything. I'm trying to raise money through, liquidating some of the things that I own, because it has now been years that I'm not working and only living off of money that I'm generating through either 2J's Closet or brand partnerships or appearance fees along the way.
Now we are in current times where the building of pressure by consigners and other unpaid debts owed, 2J's feels responsible and then wants to amend all the wrong decisions, even though he has not had a say in any of these decisions that Urban Necessities has been making, and it's all the shoe surgeons and his team's decisions that has now led to where we are now, where essentially the business is probably gonna go fucking bankrupt.
And I don't hear anything till the first week of June this year, where I'm being asked and advised that they're contemplating filing a bankruptcy. I am responsible for all liabilities, even though I have not been part of this brand for the last 3 years. And it's unfortunate.
So despite not being with the brand, they were still in debt with all the sales tax from the business, leaving them broke. What was the shoe surgeon not paying these taxes?
It's unfortunate that they've wiped out my consignment accounts and took more money from me than I want to admit. And one of those debts is a liability that had a personal liability assigned to me, which was a sales tax debt. That sales tax debt not only seized all of the money in my personal bank account, it did for Joni as well, even though both of us have not been with the brand for years.
You weren't gonna tell them to pay their taxes? I'm just so fucking confused here, people.
I have been talking to lawyers. I have been talking to friends. I have been talking to families. And that's why I have already listed the home that I live in for sale, as well as some of my other assets for sale, to take the steps, not only one, to pay that tax debt, but to make every single consignor whole.
Well, I am hopefully optimistic about this grandstanding moral stance here. I highly doubt anything will happen. This will not happen, and no matter what, the amount of debt that needs to be repaid, not only to the state, but then to the hundreds of consignors with thousands of their own individual debts. 2J's would then describe him needing control over the business 100% to then start repaying these debts, but not all of the debts, especially the ones accumulated by the shoe surgeon. He's not going to pay out those, but he's going to pay out these, but not pay those in this systematic process that I really don't understand anything. This isn't making sense.
That might take me a day, it might take me weeks, it might take me months. I cannot allow any of my consignors to feel the burden or just lose. Even though every lawyer, every friend has told me that the financial responsibility falls on my brand, and that at the end of the day, my brand could technically just bankrupt and walk away and leave all these people just out in the dark with no responsibility for it. It is not how I built my brand. It is not how I conduct business. And it is not something that I want to run away from.
It's like, this is just typical sneaker business. These people are fucking fish oil salesmen selling fucking poop on the side of the street. Like, these people sell fucking literal shit to shit bags. And then why are we surprised when shit bags get involved with a shit bag that they're not going to create more shit on the fucking floor?
If I am able to sell my properties in a timely manner, not only will I be able to repay the taxes immediately, I will also be able to pay the consignors in full right away.
But then Urban Necessities would go on their Instagram account, and the shoe surgeon essentially would release this statement that reads, "We're aware of the ongoing statements about Urban Necessities. While we prefer to handle legal matters privately, we feel it's necessary to clarify a few points. From the start, we entered this partnership with integrity and a genuine belief in the brand. Despite our efforts, including investing millions of dollars and working in good faith, the relationship faced serious challenges, much of which occurred behind the scenes. Out of respect for those involved, we've remained quiet. We're covering our ass. But the truth is, we've endured significant losses. Mismanagement by Jace, including mishandling funds and taxes, only came to light after we got involved. Despite this, we tried to keep the business afloat while he acted in ways that undermined those efforts. Let's separate facts from feelings." Like, what? Jace engaged in self-dealing, stole products, and embezzled company funds. His attempts to portray himself as the victim ignores the reality of this situation. We've been working to return full ownership to Urban Necessities to him, and that process is nearly complete. We're grateful for everyone who supported us and the brand. We still wish the best for the entire team and those involved, but we won't stay silent in the face of false narratives. Oh my God.
I probably signed one of the worst deals in history, but it's only a bad deal because the people on the other side never felt doing it the right way. From even now, I have no guarantee that even though, as I'm sitting here telling you the circumstances and situations that I have going on, which currently have me fighting for my life and realistically not even knowing where I'm gonna live, I have to do the right thing. I'm going to do the right thing.
Now, I honestly think that both the shoe surgeon and Urban Necessities 2J kicks, but I feel like everyone's at fault for all of their horrible decisions, and something that we see so many times in the sneaker community, especially since the money is being sucked out of the fucking udders of the sneaker cash cow here. Literally everyone is just fighting to retain any money and cash out or get any benefit that they can from where the community is. We see this so many times. Consignors get scammed. Businesses go bankrupt. People lose money. The owners are never held accountable. So you know what? Honestly, if 2J Kicks was truly acting against the best interest of the business, engaging in self-dealing, stealing product, and embezzling funds as claimed, why would the shoe surgeon and his team just hand back him full ownership? It really makes it seem that they never had any real ownership or what. Guys, what the fuck is going on here? It feels less like justice and more like a hasty attempt to wash your hands clean and just walk away, especially if the goal was to make him solely liable for the business collapse due to his own failure to read the contract he signed. Then you have like this $300,000 loan allegedly given by 2J's wife to the shoe surgeon. Some believe that this money didn't go towards business development at all, but instead helped him personally cover a lawsuit with Nike that recently settled. The shoe surgeon's team even deleted a comment claiming 2J's was earning a multi-million-dollar salary, which only adds more confusion on top of this. So what was the shoe surgeon doing? And if he did just pocket that $300,000 loan, but then we have the same allegations being thrown at 2J Kicks, who also can be guilty in this situation for his piss poor ability to read a contract, negotiate or deal with a business, and have any comprehension of anything going on, and just being complacent throughout the history of the business until now it's coming to a boiling point where it seems that you're essentially broke as fuck and you have no money, no assets, no anything.
It's been an extremely difficult 3 years as my wife has been fighting for her life. Stage 4 colon cancer, watching her see every dollar that we had just gone because people felt like not communicating or doing the right thing, not only for us, but for the brand. For 3 years, I've been going to the police. For 3 years, I've been trying to get the attention of the feds. For 3 years, I've gone to the Better Business Bureau. For 3 years, I've gone to lawyers. Very frustrating.
What, are you gonna live out of your fucking car in a box and on the Las Vegas Strip? You're just gonna sell everything to pay back the business and the consigners? I just don't see that happening, people. That really is a very selfless act for someone who does not seem selfless. This just makes no sense. So honestly, everyone in this situation, get fucked. I'm dancing on your grave. Like, this is just a piss poor situation by everyone involved, and I don't think we can just fully point blame at one side here. So the story just boils down to two so-called sneaker moguls scamming and outmaneuvering each other, burning through hundreds of thousands of dollars while the business circles the drain, and the customers are the ones who will be facing the biggest repercussions. There's so many bad apples in here, and look what happens when two bad apples come together. They create shit.